to all you Pisceans. Welcome back for a monthly horoscope for October 2014 for Pisces. Now this is eclipse month and it's also Mercury retrograde month, so I will be focusing on that for most of this reading, this general reading for Pisces. And I made a separate video about the eclipse. It's especially about the total eclipse. I don't talk a lot about the solar eclipse, it's just a partial one. But the total eclipse is quite significant. And if you're interested in astrology or learn something about it or have a different view, just go and watch that video, which I have put a link below. But what is this month of October all about? I think I said it, I mentioned it in the video of the total eclipse. It's about débranche, it's about breaking free. It's about breaking free of old patterns that we, at times, not always, at times we all need to deal with. And the emphasis of the houses for you, for the Piscean, is the money houses again, or the houses of value, the houses of your talents. It's the second house versus the eighth house. Now, what's happening with the eclipse? Because the eclipse happens at the 8th of October, it's not bang then that people are going to feel it. It's a building up through the whole month. And the same for the Mercury retrograde. So you will have a huge emphasis on your second versus eighth house. Now, what is this about? It's about the moon. The themes here are Moon Uranus and Moon opposite Venus, and indirectly also Venus opposite Uranus. Now, what does all this Latin means? Well, it's about ambivalence. For a start, that's when you see the Moon opposite Venus in a natal chart. It's always about discontentment. It's about what you want is not at the same level as what you need, or vice versa. So it's a stressful situation. When people have that in a natal chart, it can be very stressful that there is a complexity of feelings and emotions when you can love that and wanting that, but needing something else. And I don't have to explain that to a Piscean, do I? Because in old art of the representation of the Pisces symbol is the two fishes swimming. The one is really swimming to the opposite side of the other. So Pisceans know all about that, you know, sometimes being torn apart between you want to go to the left and you want to go to the right at the same time, which causes stress and causes discontentment. But what does it mean for you? On what kind of areas could that mean? It can mean on all kind of areas that you want something, but at the same time you need something else. But I think for you, as it is, it's in the sign of Aries and Libra. So for a lot of people in general, it have to do with relationships, so that they want this, but actually they need that. But for you Pisceans, I think it has to do with those houses that I just talked about. So what could it be? Let's have a look. So Venus is in your 8th. And what is Venus in the 8th? Venus in the 8th could be that you are content about... Venus is the 8th. It's the support of someone else. So it could be your loved one, that you are very content about your loved one, about your relationship. And that, for instance... let's put it on a very basic level, money, that you someone is supporting you with money. And we all know those times when we are, for instance, out of work, out of a job, and then we are very glad that the one that we live with has the financial support. And so that's good, that's the being content. But the other side is the Moon Uranus in the second house, which is, I'm not content about this situation. So for you, this could be, if we take this as an example, it could be like, for instance, it doesn't make me feel secure, it doesn't make me feel content, it doesn't make me feel confident, because it makes me feel dependent, you could say. The moon Uranus, the last thing it wants to be is being dependent. So it could be as simple as that you're receiving something of someone else. It could be money, it could be emotional support, it could be you know, whatever you value and whatever you think is important that other person gives you. But at the same time, it gives you a bad feeling. So that's the ambivalence, the stressful situation. At the same time, you want to break free of that because you don't feel confident because of that in some sort of way. So the solution is of not breaking away, but of understanding those two different needs and of trying to compromise them. And that is the focus should be with this eclipse, should be on the moon Uranus in your second house, because that is the energy that probably has been suppressed. So if you suppress the needs, it bursts, it comes out. So I'm not going to say it's going to be very difficult for every Piscean, not at all. If you are a Piscean who's very aware of all this, that there can be a dependency. And sometimes we all depend on each other, don't we? This is what relationships can bring. And but here there's a realization of I may not depend too much on someone. You know, that's basically it, I think. It's about I have to be able to secure myself. I have to be able to give myself emotional support. I have to be able to give myself financial support, etc., etc. So this is because it's on these two houses about where the ambivalence and the stress is going on. And the more of that, because Mercury also plays this role, Mercury going retrograde in Libra, in your 8th house. So is it your 8th house? Yes, it's your 8th house. So when Mercury goes retrograde in the 8th house, it really is about, it's very interesting for you because you are a Piscean. Pisces is a water sign, and Pisces is not really afraid of the depths of the water, which is the 8th house. It's a fellow water sign. It's a Scorpio house, so it wants to dig deep. Your mind will dig very, very deep to change some patterns of thought, some patterns of behavior, some patterns of the mind that you want to reverse. It's now the time actually to change that. So it could be something like that as well. With Mercury in the 8th house, it gives someone a rebirth, a transformation of one's thoughts, that sometimes has been idée fixe. Idée fixe is, you know, you're just pointing towards something and you're stuck because of that. So there's also there breaking free of your own mind. So what a month it is for Pisces. It's rather deep, it's rather digging deep, but it's also very earthly, I think, because it's also about, you know, your financial state, your and your emotional state, and wanting to break free because of that. That's the most important. If you want to know more, just click on the eclipse video. Wishing you all the best for you Pisceans, and see you again next month. Bye bye.